Ayo, back at it again with another video. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. So this is actually a video I've been meaning to make for a long time because this has been weighing on me a lot in my personal life. I grew up very, very religious. I went to private religious school, preschool through high school, and then in college I went to Valpo, which was pretty Lutheran. I mean, by the time I got into Valpo, it was Lutheran and Catholic. There was a lot of Lutheran students, a lot of Catholic students, but I left the church. And this was a hard decision for me to make because I grew up going to church and grew up going to religious school. But I left. There's a lot of things I was unhappy about. So I wrote an article about it. So I said I left the church because there's, the priest sex abuse scandal, and a lot of what I was seeing from the pulpit was hating thy neighbor instead of loving thy neighbor. I wrote this a while back. Tough one for me to write. I was baptized Catholic. One of my favorite pictures, one of my personal favorite pictures, is me at my baptism. And it's my grandpa and my godfather holding me at the church. However, no longer a part of the church. I still believe in the teachings of Scripture. I think the church is morally bankrupt for this whole sex abuse scandal. I mean, if we just look up this sex abuse scandal, the pedophilia and the just sexually abusing kids, it's disgusting. It makes me just want to vomit. It makes me want to just scream into the void. I think this is just absolutely disgusting, morally bankrupt. You look up priest abuse on the internet, thousands, millions of results pop up. The abuse is so blatantly obvious, yet the church continues to cover it up and then in turn protects their priests who abuse and take advantage of these children. It's disgusting. Priests taking advantage of children is disgusting, repugnant, and morally bankrupt. I've seen firsthand the hypocrisy in the church. For example, obviously, if you look in the Gospel, I believe, of Matthew, I don't remember what chapter and verse, but in the Gospel of Matthew, talking about loving thy neighbor, talking about helping thy neighbor. And when I went to church and when I was in school, yet from the pulpit, every Sunday, hate and anger was spewed towards our neighbors, which was entirely hypocritical because the teachings of Jesus tell us to love our neighbor. So it's basically love thy neighbor on Sunday and hate thy neighbor the rest of the week. And it wasn't even for all of Sunday. It was just church service, like loving thy neighbor just during church and then hating everyone outside of church. The Bible has been used as a weapon against the neighbors that they don't like. And then when you call them out on using Scripture as a weapon against their neighbors, they then hide behind that to avoid accountability. The church is losing membership year after year, and they wonder why. The church has a lot of soul searching it needs to do. I'm no longer a part of the church. I refuse to be a part of it. I left, and I have no intention of returning anytime soon. I'm free from a morally bankrupt and financially corrupt institution who has distorted the teachings of Scripture for their own personal gain. I was baptized Catholic. One of my favorite pictures is at my baptism, and I left. I'm free. It's hard. It's a tough one to write. Obviously, it's very personal story. Everyone has their religious journey, whether you religious or not, that's up to you. But I left, and the hatred spewed towards their neighbor was one of it, but the thing that really did it was the sex abuse. That was I want to vomit every time I see a headline, and it's just so disgusting. I still believe in the teachings of Christ. I still, am faithful, but the church has a lot of soul searching it needs to do, and I refuse to be a part of it. So, yeah, that's my experience. Yeah, gonna wrap it up. I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.